Hello, travelers. Okay, let's dive right into it. Hasn't the Genshin banner schedule been an absolute roller coaster lately? Seriously, between those surprise character comebacks, totally unexpected pairings, and even soundtrack leaks somehow turning into full-blown Harbinger theories, trying to guess what Hoyoverse is going to do next feels like a full-time job. That's exactly why I wanted to put this video together for you all. Today, we're going to map out everything from the tail end of version 5.6 all the way through the big 6.0 update. We're not just talking about what's been officially announced, but also what seems super likely, what the community is buzzing about, and maybe even a few things that could completely catch us off guard. So whether you're meticulously saving your Primogems for that dream team, or just trying to figure out the smartest way to spend them, consider this your guide to the near future of Teyvat. Who else is trying to pull for their favorite character but the Primogems just aren't enough? Don't worry, I've got a way to save money and get double the Genesis crystals. This is lootbar.gg. It works just like the in-game top-up system, but with up to 25% off, and new users even get a 10% extra discount. See this? The regular $100 pack only costs $81 on Lootbar, and each update they release an exclusive $72 bundle available for your first purchase every version. All you need is your UID. No password, no login. Just pick your bundle, select your server, and your crystals get delivered in about 5 minutes. Lootbar has awesome reviews. It's fast, secure, and trusted by tons of players. If you're planning to recharge for Genshin or Star Rail, don't waste your money. Click the link in the description or pinned comment and top up now with Lootbar. Safe, fast, and way more affordable. And don't miss that 10% off while it lasts. Let's kick things off by looking at what's happening right now, because I know some of you might have missed this. We're still in version 5.6, and Phase 2 is just around the corner, bringing us Kinich and the Raiden Shogun alongside that long-awaited Inazuma Chronicled Wish. And for those curious about the 4-star lineup, it's Lynette, Toma, and Kujusara. Not a bad bunch at all. Honestly, Lynette still feels a bit underrated, and Sarah is fantastic if you're finally getting serious about building your Raiden properly. But we can't linger here too long. We've got a lot of ground to cover. Let's jump into what everyone's already speculating about, version 5.7. Now, this one feels significant because, thanks to the reliable HomDGCat, we have a pretty solid leak of who the 5-star characters will be: Skirk, Mavuika, Emily, and Shenhe, with Dahlia making her debut as a brand new 4-star Hydro Sword user who can even provide shields. That's already a pretty stacked lineup, but now let's talk about how these phases might break down. And just a heads up, this part is my own theory based on the current Abyss buffs and past rerun patterns, so take it with a grain of salt. Here's what I think makes the most sense. Phase 1 will likely feature Skirk and Mavuika. Why? Well, first off, Skirk is a brand new character, and Genshin Impact almost always places new 5-stars in the first phase to maximize hype, and, let's be honest, sales. Secondly, the Abyss buffs for floor 12 are practically screaming, use cryo. We're seeing a significant cryo damage bonus, reactions based on freeze, and even a buff to melt damage, which Mavuika utilizes. I don't think that's a coincidence. That leaves Shenhe and Emily for Phase 2, which makes sense for a few reasons. Shenhe hasn't had a banner in over 760 days, making her the most overdue 5-star rerun in the entire game. And Emily, who debuted way back in version 4.8, still hasn't had her first rerun either. Plus, if you consider Kinich's rerun in 5.6 Phase 2, a character whose best teams often involve burning reactions with Emily, it would make a lot of sense to place her banner just one version after his. So, this potential Phase 2 would be both highly anticipated and strategically logical. Now, before I see the comments flooding in, yes, I know Shenhe was just on the Leo Chronicled Wish banner, but her strong cryo support makes her a perfect banner partner to follow Skirk's debut. So this isn't just a random guess from HomDGCat, there's some solid reasoning behind it. Now, I know there's been some debate about this. Another leaker, going by the name of Flying Flame, recently claimed we're actually getting a Yellen and a Baizhu rerun instead of Shenhe and Emily. But in my opinion, that lineup just doesn't quite add up. HomDGCat has been incredibly accurate for months now, nailing Nouvelette's timing, Scaramouche's release, and even that seemingly random Raiden Shogun rerun that many doubted. And he was right every single time. So I'm sticking with his version until we see concrete evidence otherwise. Alright, now we're venturing into the unknown, starting with version 5.8. This one is purely speculation at this point, but the good news is that Genshin's patterns are actually quite predictable when it comes to the summer patches. Every year we get a big summer event, which usually includes fun side story characters and a flashy seasonal theme. So who might show up in 5.8? I think we're likely looking at Chaska and Mualani. Both are from Natlan, and if Hoyoverse wants to keep reruns somewhat region-locked during a region's debut arc, it makes sense to give every Natlan 5-star a rerun within the Natlan cycle. And since 5.8 is the last patch before Nod Cry in 6.0, this is the final window to give them proper reruns in their home region. There's also been a bit of wild speculation, and I mean wild, that Columbina might make an appearance in Natlan. Why? Well, when Skirk's drip marketing dropped, the background music was noticeably different. Really different. Fans immediately picked up that it shared melodic elements with Columbina's theme. Some even thought Hoyoverse might have accidentally leaked her character track early. To be fair, that song was changed pretty quickly after some backlash and the rumors started spreading. So, was it actually Columbina's theme, or just a bizarre coincidence? We don't know for sure, but it did spark the theory that she might be the playable Harbinger from Natlan, the one meant to appear just before we head into Nod Cry. It would be poetic, sure, but honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. Remember, in Inazuma, we didn't get Signora as a playable character. That was the Harbinger arc of that region, and she still never made it to the banner lineup, so while a Columbina debut in 5.8 would be a dream for many, I wouldn't count on it. Alright, let's get to the real Endgame version 6.0. This is the big one, Nod Cry. And based on how Natlan started with Kachina guiding us into the region, it's highly likely that someone significant will guide us into Nod Cry as well. And that person? He's been mentioned in the 5.6 Our Conquest quest, and it was stated that he's already in Nod Cry. So if anyone is going to lead us there, it's him. Not to mention, he's a perfect candidate for a new playable 5-star character. So yes, I'm pretty confident that Barca will become playable in 6.0. There are also whispers, and I do mean whispers about Durin. Not the dragon from Dragonspine as we know him, but a human-like reformed version. Now again, this is incredibly speculative, but if there's ever a version of Durin walking around as a playable character, 6.0 would be the place to do it. And you know what? It's honestly kind of refreshing to think that with Varka and possibly even Durin becoming playable in 6.0, we might finally be getting some more 5-star male characters again. Don't get me wrong, I love the recent character releases, but let's be real, Natlan only gave us Kinich just one single 5-star male character in an entire region. So the idea that we might be starting Nod Cry with 2 important, lore-heavy male characters, one of them being the long-teased Grandmaster of the Knights of Favonius, and the other potentially a reimagined version of one of the most mysterious figures in Genshin's world, is pretty exciting. It brings back a bit of that early game balance when we had more male characters. So let's quickly sum all of that up, just so you're ready for what's potentially coming. In 5.6 Phase 2, we're getting Kinich, Raiden, and the Inazuma Chronicled Wish. In 5.7, we're expecting Skirk, Mavuika, Emily, Shenhe, and Dahlia as the new 4-star. In 5.8, we could see Chaska and Mualani, possibly a summer event surprise, and the unlikely but fun Columbina theories. And in 6.0, we're potentially getting Varka and maybe even a Durin appearance. No matter which characters you're saving your Primo Gems for, one thing is crystal clear: the next few patches are going to be packed. Whether you're here for the deep lore, the ever-evolving meta, or simply chasing after your favorite character designs, we're heading into one of the most exciting transitions Genshin Impact has seen in a